Every trans woman I've ever met in real life has been ugly. It's a slippery slope from just being a regular, wholesome, God-fearing, cross-dressing femboy down to transgender woman. And I'm gonna teach you how to avoid that slope. If you give this video your full attention and watch it all the way to the end, you will not only know how to safely cross-dress, you'll know how to be in the top 1% of submissive men, so that you'll stand out and be a Chad among them, and get any femdom girl you want. I walk into the computer room in my college library, and I see this tall blonde girl, we'll call her Kelly, who lives in my dorm. She's actually my neighbor. I walk up to her, and I strike a conversation with her, like, hey, how you doing, how you studying? And we have a pretty small, very nice, like, you know, just pleasantries. I walk back to my seat, and later on in the study session, there's like these two people who come walking. They're both laughing and giggling, they have long hair, they both wearing pink, very frilly. One of them's huge. It's a guy. Or at least she was born a guy. It's very clear that this is a guy dressed as a woman who's maybe on hormones or something, but was born a guy. And the other one may be a woman. Everyone's looking at them bizarrely, including the blonde girl I was talking to before. Subconsciously, my mind just automatically looked at her to see what she was thinking of them. And like, yeah, she was like kind of staring at them weirdly too. And this is when it hits me. Am I like them? Because, you know, I see myself as like a submissive man, like when I'm with a girl that I love, and I kind of see myself as a femboy in private because outwardly I try to be masculine presenting. So I think, if people knew about me, would they be looking at me like that? Am I like the same as them? While at my university, I meet a few guys who paint their nails, and I even saw like one or two who wore skirts every now and then. And something I noticed is that many of them are guys I don't want to be like. There's only one who I remember who was like had a good body and like actually like powerful, and that was a guy I met at martial arts who just so happened to paint his nails. This is the guy we're trying to be like. So, how do we be like him? Let's jump right into it. I'm gonna give you a list of the 7 most common traits among the top 1% of male crossdressers. Number 1, they actually have good physiques. Number 2, they're not hairy. Number 3, they are fulfilled. This can either be with making money, or if they're not making that much money, they're at least like giving it their all to a craft that they're passionate about. Number 4, they're confident. Number 5, they are emotionally mature. Number 6, they have success with women. And number 7, they have good fashion sense as men too. Now let's go through all of those. Number 1, they actually have good physiques. So I'm sure if you have seen any femdom adult content, any adult content at all really, you'll notice that most of the guys have utterly mediocre bodies. This is not what we want. And like, if you've like, I've been to like BDSM conventions, I've like joined like femdom Reddits and femdom subreddits, and I've seen the selfies people post. Like, it's mostly cringe. Like, most of these people are not attractive and they don't have good bodies. It's like, bro, you're talking about like mental health and like BDSM. Like, how about you fix your body first? I'm sorry, but I'm not taking any mental health advice from someone who looks like you. You don't have to have a complete 10 out of 10 six-packs abs constantly, but you know, like, be decent. This can be achieved by healthy eating, working out through some form of exercise, and not doing drugs, including alcohol. Like, don't drink alcohol like once every weekend. Even that's bad for your body fat in the long run. For eating, I recommend you follow a keto or paleo diet and combine that with intermittent fasting. The easiest way to do this is to just sign up for a pre-prepared meal plan that just they deliver the meals already prepared for you. The one I use is Fresh and Lean. You can probably find one that's cheaper. Avoid drugs. Not really much else to say about that. For physical exercise, I recommend you either join a martial arts club, like look up jiu-jitsu near me, boxing near me, kickboxing, Muay Thai, just look up one of those and get into it. Or go to the gym. Just pick whichever gym is closest to you. Just pick a gym that has the least amount of resistance. That's gonna be the one closest to you, assuming it's not absurdly expensive. But unless it's like a gym that costs $100 a month, like, it'll be relatively cheap. Number 2, not hairy. I myself have a pretty hairy lower body, and I'll explain the reason why I don't shave that. It always amazes me when I see guys like cross-dressing and then they post pictures online and that they have like these completely hairy bodies. Like, I understand if you just want to do it in the moment, you don't have time, but you posted that online. Like, why would you not shave or get yourself waxed? Like, it just looks awful. Me personally, I have like shaved my whole body and gotten a wax and when I was like meeting up with a girl and like I did a cross-dressing thing with her. I don't do it at all anymore because me personally, I just get a lot of ingrown hairs when I shave my legs or get them waxed. So I am not really gonna even consider shaving until I make enough money that I can just get laser hair removal like that. So either shave, wax, or save money for laser hair removal. 3, they are fulfilled either by making a lot of money or ruthlessly pursuing something they're passionate about. And you can do this by prioritizing. You probably have way too many things you want to do. I want to write, I want to draw, I want to make YouTube videos. You're doing way too much. Pick one thing. Imagine if you can only accomplish one thing throughout your entire life. Pick that. That is what you're gonna focus on. 4, confidence. Confidence is honestly not that easy to get. It's earned. You gain confidence by doing the other things on this list. However, there's a few things you can keep in mind to try to be more confident. 1, no one is inferior or superior to you. Those two things don't make sense. If someone was born in with your exact genetics, your exact brain chemistry, into your exact body with your exact conditions, they would have ended up exactly like you, no better or worse. And you would have ended up exactly like them had you been born as them. No one is inferior or superior to you. When you feel anxious in public, you're self-aware to the point that you're narcissistic. You're thinking about yourself too much. You're being like really selfish actually by being like self-conscious. Like, dude, you're not the center of the world. Not everyone is focusing on you. Everyone at the meeting is also self-conscious. You're forgetting that people are just as fucked up as you are. Like, the fact is, like, most people are just as fucked up as you are, just in different ways. Another thing to remember with confidence, you probably lack confidence because you don't get women or you don't make a lot of money. Keep in mind, you can search these up. There are multiple articles saying that, like, women are dating less men. Women are having more trouble finding men who make as much money as them. Because women tend to not like dating down, and women are outpacing men in terms of earnings now in college graduation. So, like, there's another study that predicts that, like, 40 or 45% of women will be single by 2030. What about all those guys who aren't getting women? You have to understand, like, you are not unique. Like, maybe you don't make a lot of money, maybe you don't get women. Like, bro, it's the same with the rest of us. Don't feel so bad. Number 5, emotionally mature. The immediately actionable thing I would say is journal. Like, grab a journal and just write all your thoughts and don't take anything for granted. Like, do like a Socratic analysis. Like, cross-examine yourself. Like, why do you think this? Is that really the case? Could you not see it this way? Like, whenever you say something, like, don't take it as fact. Take it as opinion. And say, why do you believe this? Did someone tell it to you? Did you see it from your own observations? Might your observations have been skewed? Analyze your thoughts ruthlessly. Journal. You don't have to do it every day, you can just do it once a week. 6, get women. The immediately actionable step for this is go on to whatever subreddit is your favorite, preferably a femdom subreddit if we're talking about this, and literally just send 10 DMs to, like, women who get your attention. Scroll down through the most recent posts. Any women that, like, particularly catch your attention, send them DMs and start conversation. That's the immediately actionable step. It's so easy. You can literally do it while scrolling, like, while right now. You don't have to get up. And number 7, a good fashion sense as a man. So this is subjective, but I kind of believe that men who dress, like, more professionally look better. Like, ditch the t-shirts, the shirts with anime on them, like, you know, like, dress like an adult, dress like someone cool. And honestly, this is, in my opinion, linked to maturity. I noticed that my fashion sense is directly correlated with how mature I am. And the way to get more mature is just dopamine detoxing. You think that you want all these anime shirts and all these, like, childish things because, like, you're so used to being inundated by all this media and cutesy stuff, but when you do a dopamine detox, when you get rid of all the instant gratification, your real self bubbles up again. You realize, like, no, I actually don't want this stuff. These desires have just been implanted into me by all the media I was consuming. Those are the 7 things you can do to be in the top 1% of people who cross-dress, femboys, submissive men. Do these and you will be well above all the others, and trust me. So, like, a lot of people complain about, like, how there's such a small amount of women who are into femdom, but there's a big amount of guys who are into it. If you do these things, you will easily be in the top of the guys who are into femdom, and you can get, like, a femdom girlfriend easily. It's not necessarily about getting a femdom girlfriend either. Like, you can get a normal girlfriend and slowly, like, the two of you will grow and get into femdom. The reason why you've had trouble with, like, your identity and, like, cross-dressing and being a weenie until now, because let's face it, you're probably a weenie, I was a weenie, is because you bought into the narrative that's like, just be yourself. And it's like, yeah, just be yourself, but, like, you have to make sure you're not a piece of shit. And if you allow yourself to be influenced by all this instant gratification and media, you probably are a weenie. You probably are a piece of shit, to be honest. Not necessarily like you are down here, you're down here, and we're trying to get your baseline up. It's more like your baseline is here, but you are a gold statue by default, and you've just piled a bunch of rust and junk onto yourself. We have to peel that rust and junk off to get back to the golden you. Keep in mind, like, all those movies where they show, like, the asshole lawyer got his wife back by just being himself. Like, you forget the fact that he got her in the first place because he was a lawyer. It's the same thing as all those hero movies where they just, like, do, like, a 30-second montage. Like, that's most of the work, is, like, the work they did in the montage. All in all, don't sweat it. Plenty of girls will be into it, but you have to maximize your chances by being a great man. Not just a top 1% among crossdressers, a top 1% among men in general. Hit the subscribe button if you want more immediately applicable advice for your daily life, rather than those BS entertainment videos that don't change anything, and all those macho red pill YouTubers who don't understand you. We're all gonna make it, boys.